So dating in Miami. First off, it doesn't exist. Let's start there. I got 3 words that I call it. Dating there. It's Peter Pan land. That kind of just could give you a good visual, okay? Because what do you do in Peter Pan? In Peter Pan's land, you don't grow up, right? Everybody is always playing games forever and ever. They never grow up. So that's kind of like a good visual to put for dating life in Miami. And then which translates into regular life there too, like the day-to-day, you know, the lifestyle there. So one of the first things I noticed, like immediately, one of the first things I noticed within like my first month of living in South Florida. So just if you don't know, South Florida is Palm Beach, like Palm Beach County, where like Boca Raton is at, Broward County, where Fort Lauderdale is at, and then Miami-Dade County, where obviously you'll have South Beach. South Beach isn't Miami. South Beach is South Beach. And then like South Beach though is considered Miami though amongst all the other cities that are in that county. It's all Miami. Okay. I started off living in the Fort Lauderdale area, and the first thing I noticed right off the bat was how many unmatched, contrary to Jersey, how many unmatching couples I found. I was like, what is that? It was a culture shock for me. Living in Miami, period, was a culture shock. But part of that was that, like, I was just cause I'm so used to seeing matching couples growing up in Jersey, that when I moved to Florida, all I ever saw was the most oddest pairings. Like, you would find an older, and listen, when I give examples, it's just to give an example. I don't have these like negative outlook in my heart towards people. It's just to give like a visual for y'all. Okay, so you'll have like an older white overweight lady with the hottest younger looking, probably Dominican boy or something, right? Or the other pairings, the odd pairings I saw, I can't, but like I said, you just find a lot of oddities. And then to keep it real plain and simple, you'll notice right off the bat, like a lot of races integrate with different couple pairings, within couple pairings of couples, which is contrary to Jersey. For me, I mean, it's great. It's great. For me, I just wasn't used to it. And also it's more common to see the whole younger woman with the much older man thing. And it's nice to know though that like at least half the time you'll find that they're legitimate relationships, and then the other half the time it's that kind of relationship, if you know what I'm saying. That kind of exchange is very commonplace in South Florida. You see it like it's regular, like it's normal in your day to day. But at the same time, it's so mainstream to have oddities in pairings of couples that you can't even tell. Sometimes you won't even be able to tell if that's a sugar daddy, sugar mama situationship, or if it's a legitimate couple. So there's that. But going back to Peter Pan land, in support of that, they're dating in Miami, there's many distractions. There are many options. People have many options. It's very easy to get caught up in the winds of seduction in Miami because number one of the type of the air itself, the place itself, the Caribbean, right? It's technically in Caribbean waters, especially when you get to South Point and South Beach. And so you have a lot of islander cultural influence, Cuban, Haitian, Dominican, Puerto Rican, Jamaican. A lot of that has some strong juju in the air, if you know what I mean. And along with that comes with like the winds of seduction. It's a very dominant, pungent influence in the culture, in the lifestyle. It's just all in the air. And then you compound that with the fact that Miami is an international place. So similar to Jersey, it's become a demographic that is highly multicultural because you have a lot of people that have just come in for vacation and end up deciding they love it here and they're going to stay here. You have a lot of international investors that come in and invest in the real estate here. I'm not there. In Miami, you know, it draws in a lot of different backgrounds. So, and obviously, as we all know, in recent years, a lot, like, it has grown in population exponentially. What you could buy for a home, like even 6 years ago, has skyrocketed. Okay, so a lot of people have moved out there. It is dense in population. So you mix the density in population with the attraction that Miami and South Florida has already, with the air and the wind of seduction that's already in the air. You got a lot of options to sway with, you know, to kind of just go with the winds and with whatever option, you know, and you kind of, there's a lot of living in the moment, right? Living in the moment is highly supported in this location. Let me just tell you, that was my thing. And you have a lot of options. So dating is actually very abundant in options, and you get a wide range, because like I said, it's very different. Like, they got a lot of options out there. Got a huge spectrum of different people. So dating online, going out to meet someone, that's abundant. Like, that's very fertile. So yeah. So if you want to be a hoe, this is a place to do it. And you won't get judged for it either too much, because another very strong point in the lifestyle in Miami is the strip club life. Okay, it's so normal. It's normal, you know, sex is an environment of sex, seduction, party, you know, and not sex in a way where it's so like in your face, but in a way where it's an undertone of the culture and the lifestyle out there. So with that being said, it's a perfect place for swingers also. And actually, South Florida is an infamous place for swingers. So, you know, like, you just kind of get the picture that sex is the common language out there, which doesn't help dating out there, right? So, and that also, you know, kind of plays into how shallow the culture is, and that I can get into another time on my pros and cons list, but of what it's like living there. It's very shallow, so you will find that it's hard to find a true connection with people, a true genuine connection with people, and that translates into dating. So and then even for people who do look for something serious, so because like a lot of people aren't looking for, with all that said, a lot of people aren't looking for something serious. You'll not find too many people too often, too frequently, that want something serious, that are dating for long term. You're not going to find, as the opposite of Jersey. You're going to find people who rather just live in a hookup culture, right? And it's just, hookup culture is dominant in South Florida. So when people who do want something long term, you know, they're not usually able to find it, or if they do, it doesn't really last long because the life out there doesn't really sustain it. You find a lot of more single people in and out of hookups, in and out of dating, than you do long, happy, like, marriages, and that's just the truth. So one of the things for me that drove me freaking crazy, because number one, I wasn't used to it, being a Jersey girl. I was not used to this. I always thought it was bullshit, and it always pissed me off, but eventually I got used to it, and then I kind of was like, whatever, you know. But so this is a thing that happens. Before I settle down, like I said, even people who are long-term, try to get together long-term, it doesn't last very long. We did not last long, especially with him being a manager in a strip club, you know, that didn't help either. So I mean, usually it wouldn't, but like for him in that industry in Miami, no, that was terrible. But anyway, so prior to him though, I was dating a lot. And one of the things that I found that was so irritating is that you would have a thing going with a guy. And this is vice versa. This is man to woman and woman to man. You would have a thing going with someone, and they wouldn't want to commit to you, and they'll make it clear, and you guys got to clear that you're not committed to each other, right? But you guys consistently hook up here and there. That's like your person, right? But then you're allowed to, And they do. Not only are you allowed to, but they do go out and flirt and hook up and give attention with other people, and they'll do it right in front of your face and have no shame and no problem doing so. And rightfully so. But here's where it becomes an issue. When they see you doing your thing, they turn around and get pissed and get salty. Well, they get really, it was like, oh my God. Like, first of all, dude, have no problem, doing your thing. And then the second is I'm doing my thing and you notice it, you're upset. They want to sleep with you and they want you to make yourself exclusive, but they don't want to be exclusive with you. It's terrible, but that's how it is out there. It's so, like when I said there's dating doesn't exist, it doesn't exist. Okay? And it's just a bunch of fucking games. And, yeah. What else? So basically at the end of the day, South Florida is not only an elusive, there's a difference, elusive and elusive city itself, but it translates into this dating life. In the dating world, it's elusive, just parallel to its city. I dated a bunch of people. When I first moved out there, I was down to date. I was down to explore, different things and people and experiences. But that's not my heart. So eventually I ended up settling down long-term with my son's father. And it was it was a good time. It was a fun time. I'll be honest. It was, but it was like, almost like I felt like along the process, although I had fun, I felt always like at the end of every time something ended with someone, or as I went through each stage with dating out there, I always felt like the experiences were just recycled and redundant, and I was starting to go, that's just because it's not my heart. It's in my heart to have something real with someone. Yeah, so if you want to be a hoe, that is the place for you. So like I said, you will find someone here and there who do want something serious, but it doesn't support it. Like, for example, like I've noticed, like people that would have the character from coming from their hometown and then they move into South Florida, it's in their character to, have a, date for something that's genuine, and have a connection that's genuine, and then date for, long term. Doesn't necessarily mean marriage, but like, be a little bit more, have a little more dignity in the process. People who usually would have that character in them, when they move to South Florida, it kind of switches up, because there's, like I said, there's just so many options. I experienced that with the last guy I dated in Florida. I was crazy about him, and everyone saw that we were crazy about each other. And I've never been right since then. But I kind of found out something along the way. Listen, everyone cheats. Everyone ends up straying away, right? Especially when they're starting to lose interest. And I get that, that's fine. But I'm just saying, like, he just got done being in a 6-year relationship. Not just got done, but he had some time out from being in a 6-year relationship with somebody. And I know his background, and I just was able to see the difference. Not only with him, but with other people too. Yeah. So yeah, I definitely dated prior to being in a long-term relationship with my son's father and afterwards. And it's a great time. It's just not for me though. All right, thanks for watching.